Well, we're back. I know I said we were finished, but I was really unhappy with the detail on the rose and the majority of the leaves. So what I did was I used my eradicator like I'm doing right now to kind of smooth out this pink here. I did do some more research on the rough paper, and just about every article I found on it, it said that detail is very difficult to achieve. So I guess what I would recommend with this from here on out would be like a landscape rather than a floral that you need a lot of detail, because you're really not getting it here the way I would like to see this. Okay, so there, we've got this ready to go now. I took most of the veins out of these 3 leaves here is what we're going to fix. I did take the green off of here and off of here as best I could. And we're going to start with the flower. So I'm going to pick up a number 4. I'm going to clean it out fairly well. I was using it to remove some of that green. Don't want any green in there. And I'm going to grab my mixing brush, wherever that may be. There it is. And I'm going to create almost a soft brown for down there, because I really did not care for that green. So we're going to start with just a straight Sentinel Yellow Deep here. No, it wouldn't be that. What would it be? Golden Ochre, I'm sorry. It's the Golden Ochre. And we're going to use that for our accents on the flower. I think one of the things that helped me too is I just had my second eye surgery on my right eye, and it has gotten so much better. I am able to go ahead and see a little bit better as to what's happening. So we're going to start down here. Yeah, I'm going to like this a lot better than that green. I don't know where I got that idea from. So if you look at your photograph reference, it's not green by any way, shape, or form. It's kind of a rusty brown like this, which is what this golden ochre looks like. And we might have to do a couple coats of this, but that's okay. I have no problem with that. Some of this does come up here, and some of it does come over here. Now, since that's wet on dry, I cleaned out my brush, and I'm just laying it down next to that paint, so it definitely has a place to go to. Adding water to the edge. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on this petal, because I had green on there as well. It comes almost to the top. So I'm going to give that a place to go to right up here at the top. Yeah, I like that better already, so we'll let that dry and come back to it. Now, let's start on this leaf. And there is some blue cool green, I should say, is probably the best way to describe that color. I'm going to pick up some of this blue over here. Ultramarine. I'm just going to turn it around so I can see what my colors are. There we go. So it's the ultramarine blue. And since I've already got green down there, I'm going to try just the blue all by itself. That's a pretty strong blue, but I think that's what we're going to need. I'm going to roll my brush in that paint so I can bring it to a point. And since the background color is completely done now, you want to make sure you don't have any drips, because you don't want to drip on that background. This almost could be a little darker yet in the blue. So I just picked up a little bit of the ultramarine. Actually, it comes all the way over here. And what this cool blue is doing, if you look at the design, it's making that leaf go backwards, okay? And the other thing it's doing is making it not as important as the rest of the design, because it's underneath the flower. Okay, so it still doesn't look like a cool blue to me, so I'm going to let that set up. Soften this edge out here. And I think what I'm going to do is add some white, opaque white to that. And I'm just looking to see what I would have done with it. I'm going to put you on hold and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I found the white. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the Windsor & Newton Designer's Gouache Zion White, or Zinc White, sorry. Still can't read. But I put some out on my palette. I'm going to mix just a touch of that. It's because I want this to come up lighter than what it is. To the blue, and it was just straight ultramarine. You want to be real careful with how much of the white you use, because it is opaque. It's not going to let anything shine through. Just adding in the blue so I can get that icy blue look. It's what I want. There we go. And we'll go ahead and add that. It should be dry enough. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Actually, could use more blue. There we go. See that icy blue? It's exactly what we were looking for there. And with this paper not allowing you to do a lot of detail, this is going to go a long way in giving this design some detail. All right. Softening the edge. If some of the green shows through, that's okay. because it is green underneath. Most of this right underneath this petal is this color as well. Just getting the consistency of the paint that I want. Alright, now we'll come over here to this side. It's almost like a reflection from the rose itself that's creating this. And then there is some on the other two leaves as well. Not as much, it's more of a white, so I'll probably have to go back to the straight white and not use quite so much of the blue. And there's some of this down here. There, now we're going to let that dry and we'll move on to the other. And I'm going to, for these two, because it is almost a straight white, add some water to the straight white. And I'm just going to show you what we're doing first here. We're going to go up to this little leaf. This is light, and then there's some light spots over here. So let's do those. You want to lay this down rather quickly and then soften it in. Definitely want to soften this in because you don't want it to look real stark. I'm just giving that paint a place to go with the water that's on my brush. There we go. So I think that's going to look better. And let's go down here and we're going to add in the white on the edge, and there's like 3 major white areas over there. Then we got to go back in and put some more darks in here because there's some more darks around this white. Yeah, I think that's going to look a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to dry this and then we'll come back in and we're going to start up here again. I do want to fix some of this up in here. I didn't care for the way that was either, so I took most of that brownish out of there. But I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I've got everything dry. And I think we will go over this in the white first too before we add any dark to that one, because I like the appearance of just the straight white a little bit more. Okay, so let's go back to that golden ochre and go over the bottom of this leaf again. Yeah, that's going to be much prettier. And it'll be closer to the reference photo as well. Now I'm doing this wet on dry. It's going over right where I had the color down there before. Yeah, that's a lot better. That green just didn't do it for me at all. Okay. Just laying down some water, softening it in. Now if you're like me and you got your background done, you want to be real careful not to drip anything on the background because that will pick up almost immediately. We're going to do the same thing on this petal. Whoops, there we go. So it needs some more down here. This golden ochre is such a pretty color. If you're ever looking for a color for a shade on a yellow, which is difficult to find, golden ochre is a good place to start. It would probably be your first shade, but it is going to be a really pretty color on there. And we might have to do that one more time, but that's okay. Now I'm going to pick up the same golden ochre on my brush. In fact, I'm going to pick up just a little bit more color. There we go. And I'm going to fix this a little bit because it was a little bit too harsh for me. And it looked like it was all filled in, and I didn't care for that. And then separate those petals out there. So there is like 2 little petals there. And I'm picking up water and I'm going to give this a spot to go into. Soften it in. That's much better than what it was. It was way too harsh. Okay, this has got to stay pretty much the way I've got it in there. And I like this a lot better too. Now, this petal here, we need to add in this line here. Otherwise you can't quite tell what that little flip is doing. And that's what it's doing, is flipping. But it was just kind of blending into the other. I'm going to darken this bottom leaf one more time while it's still wet. Keep my hand out of what I'm doing here. Needs more color there than that I had given it. All I'm doing is cleaning my brush and softening it on my, taking some of the moisture out of it on my baby diaper I have on my lap. So good. We've got this one taken care of. And again, we might want to do this one more time, basically at the base. And then I like this area a lot better too now. So we're heading in the right direction. Now let me clean out my brush completely. There we go. And I'm going to pick up just a little bit of that white all by itself. I'm just going to try, yeah, this will be better. Just a touch of it over this dark, because I think that's what it needs. Clean the brush again. Soften the edge. than that blue. Good. Okay. Now this is a dried leaf. I'm losing my brushes here. There we go. So we can add in some of the dark on there. And I'm going to go right back to the dark that I used in the background. I'm just going to pick up some of it, put it on my palette. Add some water to it because it doesn't have to be quite that dark. There we go. Now when I'm wiping my brush off on my baby wipes, I'm making sure as well I have no drips on there. Again, with this background, I don't want any drips. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of shading in here, just to help accent some of these whites too, which are nice. There really aren't any veins per se on, maybe this back one here has got more veins than any of them, which I had put veins in before and I didn't care for it at all. Once it was all done. Okay. Now this one has a real dark area right in here. And that white around it helps that stand out even more so. So that's a good thing. Running out of color already. There we go. And I'm going to just soften the edges on these as needed. I don't want to lose the white. Soften that edge away. I think we're getting more of a watercolor look here too, which is a good thing. Now this side is mostly dark. Starts up in here pretty dark. And there's a spot down here that's pretty dark. Get some red in there from what we did before, and that's okay. It can stay there. Yeah, that's starting to look a lot better. Here's one thing nice about this rough paper is you can go back and soften things in if you need to, even if it's dry, which is good. Alright, so now we're going to put some dark up in there. This area right in here seems to be the darkest, so we'll start there. Okay, there's some dark up in here, some dark on that edge. Keep my hands out of everything I've been doing here. There we go. A lot of this is dark. You want to leave some of that edge. Now there is some dark right in here between picking up some more color. I'm running out. Now down in here it's fairly dark. Just softening the edges as I need to as I go. Okay, let's go back to this. I'm going to dry everything first, and then we'll do one more coat on that, and then I think we're going to be done. So that's a good thing. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're going to do one more coat on the bottom of the big petal, and again that's going to be straight golden ochre. I'm dropping my brushes again. Picking up some more color. I'm going to do fairly strong this time. So we're going to do just the edge of this petal here. And it's bringing it more into the golden brown color scheme that we're really looking for. So that's a good thing. Clean out my brush, wipe out all the drips. Much better. Yeah, I like that a lot better. This looks really good too, compared to what it was. And I do like the leaves better too. They're not so distinct like they were before with all the veins and so forth. It's got more of those highlights in there that it needed. Okay, so we're going to call this done. And I want to thank you again If you are a supporter of my Patreon channel, we appreciate that. I'm also, just so you know, opening up an Etsy store soon. So keep an eye on that. You'll be able to buy the classes individually. You'll be able to actually buy the original paintings. And prints, if you want to buy just a straight print, will be available as well. So we'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day.